So, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session of Indonesian International Student Mobility Award Partnership Meeting. And I would like to say good morning to welcome our guest who is joining us now in the room from Edinburgh, Scotland. Um, my name is Devara Zuswana, and I am one of the awardee of Indonesian International Student Mobility Award 2021, and also a former student of the University of Edinburgh for fall 2021, and currently on my way to finish my psychology degree in Universitas Negeri Jakarta. I am honored to take the role as the master of ceremony for today's partnership meeting between Universitas Negeri Jakarta and the University of Edinburgh. It is indeed a great pleasure to have you all here as we will listen for the presentation from the University of Edinburgh. First, please allow me to warmly welcome Head of Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards Program, Mr. Rahmat Sriwijaya, PhD, Rectorate of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Professor Dr. Komarudin, the Head of International Office of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Mrs. Asma Irmastianingsih, and our respected guests, the University of Edinburgh. Also, I would like to give the warmest welcome to all the representatives from the International Office of every participating Indonesian university under Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards Program. Ladies and gentlemen, Universitas Negeri Jakarta is more than honored to host this meeting for the University of Edinburgh. And with hopeful thinking, we would like to overspace to present each university's best interest and this more collaboration in the future. Before we begin the session, I am obliged to inform you some of housekeeping rules. First, the participants will be muted to minimize unwanted noises that could possibly disturb our session. And please, if you could join us with your video on so we can see and create a warm welcome online environment. During questions and answer session, you can type out your questions in the chat column or simply raise your hand and speak when it is proceeded. And I would like to remind every attendee to not forget to fill the attendance form through the link that will be shared in the chat column. Before we begin the session, we would like to start off the meeting by singing Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Thank you. And now we are about to welcome the head of Universitas Negeri Jakarta International Office, Mrs. Asma Irma-Sianingsih, to deliver her report of today's activity. Mrs. Irma, the time is yours.
Thank you, Devara. Good morning in UK and good afternoon in Jakarta to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Warm greeting from UNJ. The Honorable Rector, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, represented by Vice Rector for Academic, Professor Dr. Suyono MSc, the Honorable Chief of IISMA Program Department of Education and Culture, Rahmat Asri Wijaya, PhD. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Pak. Distinguished speakers and participants of IISMA Partnership Meeting, Universitas Negeri Jakarta and University of Edinburgh. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciations to Ms. Audrey Kohn as a Regional Director of Southeast Asia and Australasia for University of Edinburgh, who intensively connect with us and arrange this meeting with us. I'm really grateful, actually, in the middle of the challenging time facing the third wave of COVID-19, we still have survived and make an effective meeting for developing collaborations among universities through IISMA program. UNJ, as one of the public universities located in capital city of Indonesia, has already collaborated with numbers of universities in Asia, Australia, Europe as well, and always trying to expand the subject of collaborations. By this meeting, of course, we can develop joint program together in the field of research, publications, many courses, and student exchange. With 9 faculties, including undergraduate and postgraduate, we are ready to open any collaboration program among universities in the world. UNJ International Office, of course, fully supported any program of internalizations to reach our university goal as one of the protected university in Asia and even more. So hopefully we can spread of our collaborations in many universities in the world. I hope this collaboration will be beneficial for all parties involved. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Irma, for the report of today's activity. Now, allow me to invite Vice Rectorate of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Professor Dr. Suyono, deliver his opening remarks and representing Universitas Negeri Jakarta. Sir, the time is yours.
Thank you, Devara. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Professor Neil Robertson, Dean International Partnership and Chair of Molecular Materials, School of Chemistry, University of Edinburgh. Professor Tom Bruce, Dean International Student and Chair of Coastal Hydromechanics, School of Engineering. Ms. Josie Pilcher, Recruitment and Internationalization Officer, College of Science and Engineering. Ms. Debbie Coates, Study Abroad Manager, SWAY, Edinburgh Global. Ms. Audrey Kahn, Regional Director of Southeast Asia and Australasia. Mr. Ahmad Sriwijaya PhD, Chief of IISMA Program, Asma Irma MSI, Head of International Office of UNJ, and all participants of the IISMA Partnership Week with University of Edinburgh. Welcome to Universitas Negeri Jakarta. I'm pleased to welcome you to the meeting of the IISMA Partnership Week. Today, UNJ has an honor to host the meeting with the University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom. On behalf of the fellow universities in Indonesia, UNJ would like to express its highest appreciation to IISMA, LPDP, and the University of Edinburgh, who have made this meeting possible. As we may know, that this meeting is a golden chance for all of us, as it may open to a wide range of opportunity for us to establish an academic collaboration between Indonesian universities and the University of Edinburgh. This meeting is part of a series of meetings on partnership between universities in Indonesia and the overseas university partner who had participated in the IISMA program last year. It aims at providing mutual understanding and key inputs to the review of changes to collaboration between universities. For your information, that one of our students, Devara, based on the MC in this meeting, spent one semester at the University of Edinburgh last year as part of the IISMA program. She had wonderful experiences while studying at the Edinburgh, gaining a lot of learning experience, established new friends from around the world, as well as enjoying the wonderful city of Edinburgh. Such experience has convinced us that our collaboration with the University of Edinburgh can truly be extended, reaching to wider academic aspects, including research collaboration, dual degree, visiting lecturer or professor, and short courses for the faculty's members. Through this meeting, I invite all interest from our Indonesian universities fellows to engage in the online discussion in preparation for the future alliance with the University of Edinburgh. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that by participating in this meeting, we are in the right place and the right time. Together, let us accelerate the exchange of ideas and scaling up of good practices between Indonesian universities and University of Edinburgh. I wish you all a very successful meeting. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, sir, for your opening remarks representing Universitas Negeri Jakarta. Now, allow me to cordially invite the head of Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards Program, Mr. Rahmat Sriwijaya, to deliver his opening remarks. For Mr. Rahmat.
Thank you very much, Devara. Terima kasih. Thank you very much for Jakarta State University and team. I would like to thank especially to Professor Dr. Siono MSc, the Vice Rector of Academic. Terima kasih Pak Profesor Yono, terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih.
For facilitation to this evening and morning meeting today, and also our friend, our colleague from University of Edinburgh, Professor Neil Robertson, the Dean International Partnership and Chair of Molecular Material, School of Chemistry, College Science and Engineering, and Professor Tom Bruce, the Dean of International Student and Chair of Coastal Hydromechanics, School of Engineering, Ibu Josie Pitzer, Recruitment and Internationalization Officer, College of Science and Engineering, Bu Debbie Coat, Study Abroad Manager, And the last one, Bu Aude Kong, Regional Director, Southeast Asia and Australasia. Thank you very much from full team from University of Edinburgh. Thank you very much for joining this Zoom meeting. This partnership meeting, or we call IISMA Partnership Weeks, is a part of IISMA program. We are only not thinking about how to send the student to our international partner, but we want also to expand the collaboration to staff and professor, and also research, and join application, join supervision, and also join degree and extra. We are very happy to have all of you from University of Edinburgh. We know, ladies and gentlemen, this university is one of the best university in the world. According to the last rank by GS, what university ranking, Edinburgh is in 20s. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we are happy to have the university in our program. So I think your university give a very special position for our program, that our program is not only for university in the second level, but this also we have university from the first level, like your university. So very, very thank you. And now it's very easy to promote this program to another university. We said we have close friend with university, the best university in the world, yeah, in UK. So why you don't want to join with us? So this very effective if we said that. So thank you very much for your help to promote, to make us easy to promote this program. As you know, now so many universities apply for this program based on the experience, including university from UK. They want to join with this program also. So I think it's because of your university, the contribution of your university. Thank you very much, team from University of Edinburgh. So I hope this morning and evening Zoom meeting will conclude with a next action, not only about the student mobility, but also for the another strategic partnership. So the Zoom meeting will lead by Jakarta State University. I will follow this meeting. Okay, I give you back, Devara, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the warm remark. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at our main session with the University of Edinburgh. Please allow me to invite our guest from Edinburgh Global, Ms. Audrey Con, Regional Director of Southeast Asia and Australasia, and Debbie Coutts, Study Abroad Manager, Sway. Mrs., the time is yours.
Thank you so much, Davira. I'm so glad that you enjoy Edinburgh as much as we enjoy hosting you. So selamat sore to Pak Rahmat Sriwijaya.
Selamat sore, Ibu.
Selamat
Audrey.
sore.
Terima kasih.
Selamat sore. Selamat sore also to Professor Dr. Suyono, and thank you very much to
Selamat sore.
Selamat sore. Thank you very much for hosting us. We're very happy to be here. And a good morning to my colleagues in Edinburgh. Hopefully it's nice and warm this morning. So without further ado, I thought I'll share a few slides with you, and then I'll pass it on to my colleague, Ms. Debbie Coates, who will then speak a little bit about our study and work away, and then on to our colleagues from the College of Science and Engineering. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So, selamat sore, good morning, wherever you are in the world. My name is Audrey Khan. I'm the Regional Director for Southeast Asia and Australasia. I'm also at the current moment the Interim Regional Director for South Asia. So today, welcome to the University of Edinburgh. You will notice that at the bottom we say we are open to the world. So we continue to invite our students, our partners to continue to come to visit us in Edinburgh. So the doors are open in Edinburgh. Please do come and visit us. So today's session, I'd like to do an introduction to Scotland, as well as Edinburgh as a city and the university. I'll give you a little bit of a background of the university structure, and then I'll pass it on to my colleague, Debbie, who will then speak to you about study and work away. Scotland is right at the top of United Kingdom. So we're one of the 4 countries that make up the United Kingdom. Obviously, that is the greater part of United Kingdom where England is, and then Scotland in the north, and then Wales at the side, and North Ireland. We're a small population, about close to 5 million population. We have 15 universities, out of which there are 4 ancient universities. And when we mean ancient universities, we mean we're really, really old. So the 4 ancient universities is St. Andrews, Glasgow, Aberdeen, and ourselves. So we have around about 50,000 international students from across 180 countries as a nation. So Scotland has its own government, and we also have our own parliament with powers over what we do in terms of education. So just a little structural. So Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland. We're a small, nice, compact city of about 500,000. Which makes up about 15% population is students. So across the 4 universities, there are 15% of them are student populations. So our main industry covers tourism, hospitality, banking, finance, and healthcare. We're very well connected to the rest of the European cities, as well as the Asian cities. So any flight out from Edinburgh across to, say, Indonesia will probably take about 12 to 13 hours, depending on what flights you use. We have been voted UK's favorite city out of the 13 years that we've been in this program. So 13 out of 15 years we've been voted as UK favorite city. Just give me a second. Right, the university, as I said, we're an ancient university. We're first founded in 1583. That makes us about 400 over years old. We're currently ranked 16 in the QS World Rankings 2022. We're also a member of the Russell Group University, Coimbra, Una Europa, Leroux, and Universitas 21. We have over about 45,000 students, out of which 25,000 students are undergraduate students. We have close to 16,000 international students from more than 160 countries. We have around 400 bachelor degrees to choose from, and obviously equally more than 300 postgraduate top programs available. So the university is structured very differently from our British neighbors. We do not call our schools, they are not formed under faculties. Instead, they are called colleges. So we have 3 large colleges. We have the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. We have the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine. We have the College of Science and Engineering. So we have a total of 25 schools, all research-driven and active. We have, as I said, 400 undergraduate programs, 300 postgraduate top programs, 135 research areas covering a wide range of academic disciplines. We have 5 innovation hubs, and that's our Bay Center, our Edinburgh Futures Institute, our Usher Institute, Easterbush, and of course the National Robotorium, which is based in Hereward University. So just a brief breakdown of our colleges. So the first one, which is the largest college within the university, and that's the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. There are about 12 schools inside that college that give about 300 undergraduate programs. We have a total of 24,000 students, 3,600 staff. So you can see a wide range of arts, humanities, and social sciences courses ranging from business all the way down to social and political science. Next, we have the smallest of the colleges, which is the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine. We have 2 schools, and that is the Edinburgh Medical School and the Royal Dick School of Veterinary Studies. So this college is the smallest of the 3 colleges, but nonetheless quite popular with a number of international students. So it's a highly ranked college within the UK and the international ranking. So finally, we have the College of Engineering. So the College for Science and Engineering has 7 schools. So it's the middle child, so to speak. And the 7 schools range from biological sciences all the way down to physics and astronomy. So we have close to about 3,000 staff within the College of Science and Engineering, covering 12,000 students. So I'm now going to pass on to my colleague, Debbie. Debbie, are you there?
Thank you, Audrey.
Most
It's a pleasure to be here and to meet you all today. So I just wanted to speak briefly about the Study and Work Away service at the University of Edinburgh. It's one of the largest exchange programs in the UK, and we don't just cover student exchanges, we cover placements as well as work abroad. We have the NICE project, which essentially is a multi-university virtual learning program, and that essentially is designed to help students develop in-demand intercultural and entrepreneurial skills. That was a mouthful. And we also have Insight with the summer schools. So again, it's around those intercultural development skills, but shorter programs. So we're quite a large service for the university. As I say, we're one of the largest in the UK in terms of student exchange and study abroad. So we work with the study abroad team that I manage, handle all of the incoming visiting students to the University of Edinburgh through our partners, but we work very closely with the visiting student offices, which I'll come to shortly. So we work with approximately 320 partners across the world in about 40 different countries. During a normal year, we would receive 2,000 plus visiting students annually, and that would be through a range of our exchange programs. So we have international and European exchanges, but we also have a study abroad fee-paying program which we can receive students through as well, which we had through IISMA. And it was such a pleasure to host the IISMA students last academic session. They were very engaging and funny and just very well motivated. It was such a pleasure to meet them all, and it's lovely to see you, Devara, today as well. So yes, we have dedicating visiting student offices. So myself and my colleagues initially manage the pre-application process. So we'll get in touch with the students, we'll guide them through the application process. And then once they've applied, the offers come through our visiting student offices, and we have one in each college, one for science and engineering and one for arts, humanities and social sciences. So the students get a dedicated support throughout their application when they're choosing their courses, and throughout their studies with us as well. And as you will know, they also receive guaranteed accommodation, which is fantastic. So that's one big worry that's removed during that application process. They can apply for their accommodation with us. So that's just a sort of broad overview. Very happy to take any questions later or provide further information. I've put here 2 hyperlinks. We've got one for the Study and Work Away service, where you can have a look at all the programs that we manage. But there's also one for the Study Abroad team, which is the team I manage. And you can have a look at all the various programs that we receive incoming visiting students through. So thank you very much. Back to you, Audrey.
Thanks so much, Debbie. So just going to close that and stop sharing. So can I invite Josie? Josie, are you projecting?
Hi, yeah, I'm just about to get the presentation up. Hold on 1 second, please. Actually, is there any way we could make Neil Robertson the host? Can he share his screen rather than me, because he's got the presentation there ready?
I think I can
an
share.
option. Can you do that, Neil, without needing to be a co-host?
Is that shared okay now?
I
Hold on a
will.
second. Hold on. Is that
I am
shared?
ready.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So thanks very much. Many thanks to our UNJ hosts for this opportunity. It's a delight to be able to speak to you today and to talk about College of Science and Engineering. And of course, also many thanks to IISMA and LPDP for their support and for facilitating and enabling these growing partnerships with Indonesia. I have to say, if we'd thought about this more carefully, we would have put this red banner at the top of the slide so that it more closely matched the Indonesian flag, but never mind, we missed an opportunity there. Okay, what I want to do is just talk about College of Science and Engineering, a bit of background, and then really go through some examples of ways in which we've cooperated with other partners across the world, in India, in Latin America, in China, just to illustrate some of the sorts of activities we have with strong partners. And then I'll pass at the end to my colleague, Professor Tom Bruce, who will say a bit about pathways and some of the mechanisms we use for international cooperation. 1 second until I just change the slide. There we go. So I won't go through this in detail. Audrey has just spoken about the College of Science and Engineering. What I will add, that is in the most recent UK Research Excellence Framework, assessing research across the UK, all 7 of our schools within the College of Science and Engineering were within the top 5 in the UK, and some were the top 1 in the UK. So very strong across the board in all of science and engineering. Here are 7 schools listed again here horizontally, and this rather complex looking diagram just illustrates the way in which our 7 schools work together in strategic projects that are cross-cutting and multidisciplinary. Topics like data science and artificial intelligence, biotechnology, sustainable energy, biomedical engineering, science at extreme conditions, extremes of pressure and temperature, and working towards paradigm shifts. That's all underpinned by world-leading data science infrastructure. For example, University of Edinburgh hosts the UK's supercomputer for academic use through the Edinburgh Parallel Computing Centre. I'm not going to read through all of this list, but just to highlight that we have more than 30 strategic research centres covering everything from medical, biomedical, computational, data science, sustainability, energy type topics. Just to pick up on a few of those, to highlight 1 or 2 examples. So WaterEd is Water Technology and Research at Edinburgh. We have a grouping of around 100 academics across all 3 of our colleges, who are all involved in various aspects of water research. Edinburgh Climate Change Institute is collaborating to coordinate and accelerate action to prevent climate change. Energy at Edinburgh coordinates all of our academics working across the energy field. Again, that includes social scientists as well as physical scientists, so working across our colleges, as does the Global Academy for Agriculture and Food Security. So again, working across colleges. And finally, I'll show you this example here. The Low Carbon College is a partnership with China. So I'll show now a few examples of some partnerships we have across the globe. So the Low Carbon College is a China-UK low carbon college based in Lingang, which is a southeast corner of Shanghai in China. This is a newly built building which hosts the Low Carbon College, and the University of Edinburgh are the key UK, the key international partners for Shanghai Jiaotong University, working together to develop and apply the science and education that takes place in the Low Carbon College. Lingang is a new city based at the southeast of Shanghai. It's developing to become a city of around 1 million people, and that's then a newly built city. China's building many of these, and the challenge is how can these types of new cities be built sustainably? So building sustainably from scratch is one of the goals of the new city, and the Low Carbon College is the educational hub that works to facilitate that. We've also done a lot of partnership work in India. This was a workshop in India I was a co-organizer of with an Indian colleague in 2017, funded by the British Council, translating clean energy research to rural India. So we ran this at IISMA Pune, and we had a series of academics and practitioners from across the UK and from across India taking part in the workshop. So we're working together with physical scientists and social scientists, as we must do, to try to solve challenging problems across the world. We had village visits, meeting with local people to talk about some of the energy issues that they face. And in the end of all that, we published a paper, not a paper about the outcomes of the workshop, but a paper about the process of the workshop. So we've built up a lot of expertise within the University of Edinburgh on how to run these types of target-orientated workshops across multidisciplinary fields. We've used that knowledge and experience more widely in India. So this is working with partners in Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. In 2019, we ran a workshop on rural water quality and management. So similar to the one in Pune, except on a slightly different, although related topic. Again, village visits to understand the context of how water quality and management works in rural India, and workshops and conversations, presentations to develop ideas for projects that could be taken forward. I also had the pleasure at this particular workshop of being one of the judges at a hackathon, which was run by our local hosts. These are all very sharp students who had developed their own potential solutions to water challenges in their areas, and we had the pleasure of acting as judges for the winning team. Moving on from that, we have also worked with, again with IIT Kharagpur, partners in India, on a virtual student mobility program. So this was last year. This was again funded via the British Council, and it was originally intended to be an in-person workshop for students in India. Of course, in-person became impossible, travel became impossible. So we redesigned the workshop to run entirely online, with around 20 students based in India and 20 students based in Edinburgh. And they worked together, again, with presentations, questioning, conversations, problem solving, idea development, and this was very successful. And those students were able to have a very strong international experience without ever leaving their homes. So this is one way in which we can try to scale international experience for all students, not just the ones who are able to travel. This is an example of a partnership in Latin America with Ecuador. So of course the Galapagos Islands are part of Ecuador, and we've been working with partners in the development of two initiatives. One is the Galapagos Living Lab for Energy Innovation with the Universidad San Francisco de Quito. So we're working together with San Francisco de Quito on projects in the Galapagos where they have a field station that we can make use of. And also we're part of a wider hub run by the Ecuadorian government and hosted by the Charles Darwin Foundation, the Galapagos Sustainability, Innovation and Resilience Hub. This is particularly pleasing because, of course, Charles Darwin was one of our students in the 19th century. So in terms of pathways to cooperation, I think I want to emphasize that we are extremely keen to work with partners around the world. And the reason we want to do this is because that allows us to access opportunities and people that we can't access simply by staying in our own city. So we're interested to identify unique opportunities for our staff and students to engage in research and education that would not otherwise be possible. So for example, the work we've done in rural India, that's a very different context from what we experience at home. Therefore, we are very keen to work with partners in India in that context. The Galapagos is a unique ecosystem within the world. We're keen to work with our Ecuadorian partners on projects on energy sustainability, social science, etc., within the Galapagos. China's building these mega cities from scratch. We're not doing that here in Scotland. So therefore, we want to work with those partners internationally because that opens up a unique opportunity for our researchers and our students for education to learn in that context. So it's about unique opportunities that we can't access at home. It's about addressing global challenges. And of course, it's about people. It's about working with and partnering with outstanding staff and students from all around the world. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to pass on to my colleague, Professor Tom Bruce, who's going to talk for a few minutes about the practical mechanisms with which we work with many partners. So, Tom.
Thank you very much, Neil, and thank you also, Audrey and Debs, for your fantastic presentations. Terima kasih banyak also to our fantastic hosts for your very kind welcome and your very efficient organization. And selamat sore to all friends in Indonesia. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to be with you all this morning. I have a great connection with Indonesia. My very best friend married a very wonderful Indonesian woman in Banda Aceh in 1999, and I had the joy to be there for the 2 days of the wedding. And so this made a very big impression on me, and that impression remains with me of 2 of the most special and happiest days of my life. So it's a wonderful, on a personal level, it's a wonderful opportunity, and I'm very excited by this opportunity. Neil has given some concrete examples of the sorts of things that we do in partnership, and the word partnership is important. I think as the years and decades have passed, we have recognized that everything needs to be mutually beneficial. We need to do things absolutely together. What I've tried to do on this slide here is to present a selection, a menu of the sorts of things that we do together. Every point-to-point partnership develops in a different way at different speeds. But I thought, well, let's have a Boston box on what's easy and what's valuable. But rather unsurprisingly, there are not many easy things to do that are super valuable in a partnership. And happily, there are not many things that we've done that are difficult and pointless and not valuable. So it did turn out to be a rather linear diagram rather than a scatter. But as we move from the lower left to the upper right, we see deeper and more meaningful and more impactful partnership opportunities. Many of our partnerships in the beginning of the millennium started out with simple articulation arrangements where students would come to us for their 3rd and 4th year, for example. And those were fantastic experiences for the students, and they have in fact developed those partnerships, but they're a bit one-way traffic for at the outset. So that's not a terribly exciting way to do business together, to be partners, but it is sometimes it's been a way to get things started and get conversations underway. Also fairly easy have been summer schools, and Neil has flagged summer school that we held virtually in the end, but it was designed to be in person at IIT Kharagpur. We have a selection of summer schools where our students have been able to travel to different parts of the world to really experience challenges faced, which are quite different from the challenges faced in Scotland and the UK and in Europe. So we've had students every year going to Southeast India, to China, and so on. And this can become a way to really start to develop that bilateral benefit, because these summer schools have on occasion been bound into student exchange agreements. And so we've been able to see our students, for example, spending time in India or China, and that enabling student exchange places at Edinburgh for undergraduates of the partner university to spend a semester or a year with us at no tuition fee cost. So these things can develop into deeper exchanges. And actually, if the student exchange, as is the case in some disciplines such as chemistry, is about project work, then there's the opportunity for academics to start talking to each other. And we can start thinking about getting groups of academics to speak to each other and things like research workshops. And over the past decade, Neil and myself have been involved in a number of these research scoping workshops where we're bringing groups of academics together for a couple of days to get to know each other. So not a dull old conference with lots of PowerPoint and lots of people talking to their PowerPoint and not speaking to other people, but almost no PowerPoint, and lots of talking and lots of imagining, trying to understand the challenges and how this new group of people can get together to meet some of these challenges. So those are harder to do, take a bit longer, but they can be really productive in kickstarting joint research, whether that be very informal, for example, at master's student level, or heading towards something a little bit more formal. We've found that joint PhDs have been a wonderful way to really deepen partnerships. I think our favorite example at the moment is a dual award PhD with Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile in Santiago in Chile, where we're starting 5 or 6 joint projects per year. And you can imagine just how quickly that builds into a really substantive and broad collaboration across a number of academics and even into a number of disciplines. So those are quite difficult to set up and take longer, but those are really a gold standard in being able to work together in a way which is really sustainable and hopefully into the future produces a set of shared alumni that we can share in celebrating. And ultimately, right up at the top right, some of the things that, like the low carbon centre that Neil was mentioning, where we're starting to have actual formal institution. Shared institutions. So those are the harder things. So Neil, is that helpful? I hope that's a little bit helpful. Anyway, I'll pass back to you.
Okay, thanks, Tom. I think that's the end of the presentation. So I'll stop sharing the screen, and we'll be delighted to continue the conversation.
All right. Is Josie already have something to say? Because according to the rundown, after Tom have a presentation, is Josie turn, or is it done?
No, I don't need to say anything. My colleagues have covered it all. Thank you.
All right, then.
I've just added a picture from our house from 15 minutes ago to prove that it's not always cloudy and rainy in Edinburgh. We have a really, really beautiful winter morning here. It's about 0 degrees, and as you see, there's no cloud in the sky. And if you look closely at the hills behind the city there, you can see there's just a tiny little bit of snow. I had a wonderful Indonesian PhD student who graduated successfully 2 years ago. He arrived in Edinburgh on a February morning, just like this, just exactly like this, except there was more snow, and we walked up behind the campus. And he'd never been so cold. And after 3 years in Edinburgh, he had gone native. And in April or May, when the temperature would go up to 17 or 18 degrees, he would come into my office in shorts and t-shirt and say, it's really hot today, Mr. Tom. So after 3 years, he became just like us. So I've stopped sharing that, but I thought, here we go. So we're open to questions. Neil, is it worth saying we're not complete beginners in Indonesia. We have an MOU with UGM doing some work in areas of bioengineering. And we have a small project going on with civil and environmental engineers at ITB, but we're really have almost a blank sheet of paper here. And so we're really excited that this is an opportunity to meet new friends and start these discussions.
Thank you so much for Professor Robertson and Professor Bruce for the presentation. And also, Bruce, thank you so much for sharing the picture. I've been missing winter in Edinburgh since I got back here to Indonesia. I have someday that I could go back to Edinburgh very soon. Okay, and now, before we start the Q&A session, please allow me to invite Mr. Shandi Aditya for further coordination of all the proposed collaborations with the University of Edinburgh.
All right. So everyone can hear me? Okay. Thank you, Tom, and all the representative from University of Edinburgh. Just a quick share on what UNJ can do some collaboration with Edinburgh. Okay. Is my share screen clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it's just a very quick explanation about our university, State University of Jakarta. Currently, we have 8 faculties and graduate program. You can see in the videos beforehand, before we start the meeting session. We got educational science, and then language and art, math and science, social science, technique, sports science, academic, psychology, and also graduate program. This is some collaboration potential that we can offer to University of Edinburgh. For example, like learning and teaching. In here we have a early childhood lab and also a child with a special need lab. Currently we work some joint research with Asian University in Taiwan, and also our sports science lab is one of the biggest in Southeast Asia. And also we have some entrepreneur class which is focused on a digital startup. And then for a joint workshop, we have a faculty of art and language, which offer Indonesian language for foreigner. If some of you guys want to learn about Indonesian language, and then some performing arts, which is focused on Indonesian ethnic and contemporary. We have a chamber orchestra, which is coordinated by a school of music. And then some Betawi cultural ethnic preservation is actually ethnic in central of Jakarta. Language and art journal, also creative industry lab. For dual degree, like Tom said before, it's a very good idea for us to start collaborating in this. In our graduate program, we have a dual degree in environmental management and environmental education. And most of lecture that I contact a few weeks ago, they are really interested in joint research. So this is only some example that I mentioned about sociology, in information technology education, some Islamic education, which is focused on halal food, psychology education, which is right now we are joint collaboration with university in Thailand, and also math and science. And In our graduate program, we also have a joint conference. Currently in 2022, we have a second international conference on humanity, education, and social science, and international science conference on management, business, and accounting. If we can manage to collaborate with this, I think University of Edinburgh can also be the co-host. And this is the information for all universities in Indonesia that join this meeting session. Please submit your proposal or idea that can collaborate with University of Edinburgh in this link, or maybe you can just scan this barcode and it can directly to the G form that we provide. So thank you, everyone, and hopefully we can collaborate as soon as possible. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Shangi, for the guidance, and for all representatives of the International Office to submit the proposal in the following link or scan the barcode. And now we are finally in the session that I believe every respected representative from the university has been waiting for from the very beginning, question and answer session. Let me remind you, during this session, you can type out your question in the chat column or simply raise your hand and speak when it's proceeded. We can start if anyone wants to ask some questions by probably raise hands or type. Okay. The representative from UPI is raising their hand.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Devara. Good morning from Bandung. We are already afternoon here. Yeah. My name is Tusi, the representative of International Affairs from Bandung. Well, one of the aim of having this kind of week between host university and home university. Excuse me. I think my connection back to normal, right? Can you still hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. All right. So yeah, one of the aim of having this kind of partnership is to initiate the collaboration between our university and Edinburgh University. And one of the I have things regarding the collaboration types is the first one is is it possible to conduct the IISMA like program with your university later on? Because in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, we have to arrange the IISMA program by ourselves, so it will not be managed by the main coordinator from DICTI. We also have to initiate it to be conducted by our own. So it is possible to do that. So if it is possible, to whom that I have to contact? Yeah, which contact? Because we have lots of representatives here from Edinburgh University. And, and the second one is about the virtual summer program that have been presented by Professor Neil Robertson. It is very, I'm interested to do that kind of virtual collaboration because, well, actually my background also chemistry. So I just want to know that if we from UPI would like to conduct this kind of programs, which representative that I have to talk to, and then is the programs have the limit number of meetings, like for 16 meetings from the program, so that the students can get that certificate from that kind of programs, because we have to provide the students with the certificate as well. Yeah, so it is known that the students have involved in the collaboration program between our university and Edinburgh University. And yeah, I think I just want to confirm which representative or who that I have to talk to. I think that's my question. Thank you very much.
So thanks, Tutsi. I think regarding the virtual summer program, I'm very happy for you to contact me, or you could contact Tom. Either of us would be very happy to have a conversation with you. In terms of the way in which that has developed, we ran that last year, as I said, and that was with partners in IIT Kharagpur in India, and that was out with the curriculum. So that was an opportunity for students who wanted to do something additional during a break in the semester. So out with their studies, they had this additional opportunity, and it was very enthusiastically taken up. We now have a new grant award in order to develop a credit-bearing program. Again, our principal partners in India will be IIT Kharagpur, but there are several other Indian universities also involved in that. So we haven't run that yet. Tom has taken the lead on developing that, but that one will be credit-bearing. So that the students will have the credits towards the degree program awarded through successful participation in the new version of the program. So it's a bit longer, a bit more detailed in some ways, a bit broader as well, and some more formal assessment involved rather than purely for the experience. And we will be running that this year for the first time. And then we will have experience of how well that runs and how easy that is to do or how difficult that is to do. It will be a combination of online, mainly online for students who remain either here or are in India in their own university, with a small amount of mobility for selected students. So after we have done that course, and Tom's taking the lead on that course development, we will have experience of both the non-credit bearing, where the students received a certificate of attendance, and also a credit bearing, similar but credit bearing workshop. And then we'll be in a strong position to understand what works best in different contexts with different partners, with different motivations. And I think that would be a good time to then start some conversations around how that might be extended to Indonesia, for example, building on our expertise that we gained from working in India.
All right, okay, thank you very much, Professor Neil.
In answer to your first question, Tutsi, Debbie on the call here would be ideal first contact. Study and work away service is it's a staggering number of partnerships that you manage, and there's really quite a lot of expertise and a lot of infrastructure in place to support partnerships, and particularly where partnerships are for multiple students and envisaged over multiple years. It's exactly the sort of strategic partnership that Sway would be, I'm sure, delighted to engage with you on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tom. Please, yeah, do feel free to get in touch. Audrey's put my contact details in the chat there, so you can drop myself or Audrey a line, absolutely, and we'd be happy to talk you through sort of next steps there.
All right.
And I think
Thank you very much,
on the call, although we're a very large university, we're reasonably well connected with each other, and so we're all familiar. Everyone on the call here is familiar faces to each other. So don't worry too much about the first point of contact, because we'll find a way to get you to the right people. And if in doubt, Audrey has broad shoulders and has probably better inbox management than I do, certainly. So if in doubt, go to Audrey first.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you so much for the question, and thank you so much for the answer. Okay, so there's a raised hand from Mr. Shandi.
All right. Yeah, I want to ask a question. I tell about this meeting session with my colleague in State University of Jakarta. They are really excited about this collaboration, but they don't want to do something complicated for like joint research or things like that. But they want to start something simple like join classes or maybe a workshop. Is it possible for us to do that with University of Edinburgh? Because I think when we start something small and simple, but yeah, it's done. It's good for a start. Yeah, later we can continue the collaboration even more complex. Yeah, if it's possible, what's the procedure? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. Maybe I could say just a couple of words. Neil and I and Josie and others are already discussing the extent to which we could take the knowledge and the confidence that we've gained from our short 1 week online programs and the extent to which it could be possible to make this more widely available. And as you say, the low-hanging fruit, the quick wins to get conversations started is very attractive, and it's a potentially very accessible route for students from Indonesia to interact with us before anybody has to get on a plane or any seniors have to start having some great ideas together. So I think the question is a really, really good one. And I think it aligns with the conversations that we're starting to have. I'm sure you're all in exactly the same position as us. 2 years ago, we really found it very difficult to imagine how to do really engaging and useful and exciting stuff online. And now I think we know reasonably well how to do it. And also, I think I won't speak for others on the call, but I have some gray hair. And to me, the idea of sitting in front of a computer for a week to do a workshop is not that attractive. But actually, we were overwhelmed by the level of enthusiasm to apply for, and also overwhelmed by the level of engagement with our 1 week online workshop. And so, you know, we're learning all the time about how to use this medium to do really, really good things together. And actually, we got the Indian students and the UK students to form friendships online, because people who are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, they do that anyway. And so it was remarkably positive, actually. So your question is well received, and I think it's well timed, and I hope that we can go forward and have some further conversations quite quickly about that. So thank you very much. Neil, I don't know, Neil or Josie, anything you'd like to add to that?
So Tom, I'd like to add to that. So Pak Shandy, please feel free to reach out to myself. If you'd like to reach out to the College of Science and Engineering directly, that will be either through Tom or Neil or even Josie. I would suggest for the other colleges, which is the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, and obviously our College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, that one, please forward any approach that you like to, you know, in terms of engaging with our colleagues in those two other colleges or any of our center. In fact, perhaps as an example, what we've done is you don't really have to do a total virtual workshop. You could do a hybrid. Now, I'm very sure when COVID permits and travel is allowed, we hope that Omicron is the tail end of the pandemic and travel is allowed in some form or manner. We are looking towards to probably do something hybrid as a first start in getting back into some form of normal. So we could actually have students from your university coming to probably spend a week or 2 weeks with us, and vice versa. Our students can come and, you know, experience your university and engage with your students in Indonesia. So there is a possibility to do a hybrid version. So it doesn't necessarily have to be virtual. We're currently doing a hybrid model with UGM, and also with the Universitas International Islam through the our Alawite Center for Studies in Islam in the Contemporary World, because I noticed that you have one area that you were talking about, which is on halal food. So perhaps we could take that conversation offline. So in case you're interested to just spend some time with us here in Edinburgh, we are open to hybrid. Or if you want to spend more time, by all means, we can also do a full physical workshop.
All right, thanks for the answer.
Sorry, I was just going to add, I think what's interesting about these workshops and what makes the students so engaged is that it is a focus on real world problems, whether that is food or water or agriculture or energy, and it gives students the chance to learn a bit more about things in the real world setting, and then to do projects with someone from a completely different context. So the fact that it's interactive and it's addressing real world issues is something that you don't get just in a regular set of classes at university. So it adds something different. And as Neil said right at the beginning, it's an opportunity to do something different. It's looking at a real world problem and solution. And so that's what motivates the students and the staff to be involved. And I think the other thing that's interesting to think about is with our new summer school program that we're doing with several universities in India. That's different in that the previous one was just one university in Edinburgh, one university in India, but the next one we're rolling out is with several university partners. And so that could be something, we do in Indonesia, where, several of the Indonesian universities could get involved. And then that widens the scale of staff and the numbers of different topics we could possibly include and the different levels of expertise. So, now that we've set one of these up, we'll have to see. It's not run yet. It should be possible to do that more widely, either hybrid or all virtual, or whatever works best.
All right, thanks for all the answers. Really excited to looking forward to this collaboration.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shandi, for the questions and also for the answer from Edinburgh. And there's a question from Ukrida, from Ms. Arian Patua. Do you want to ask the question yourself, or do you mind me to read the question? Yes.
Thank you, Defara. I'm really sorry that I cannot turn on my camera for the internet connection issue. Hello, Audrey, Neil, Josie, David, and Pak Tom. We are working currently in exploring on COIL program. So to us, it works on both directions for students meeting up with their fellow learners from the other part of the world, but at the same time, teachers also, they work together to find the common ground and also upgrade their teaching at the same time. So we are wondering whether a COIL program is also another possibility to look at with the colleagues in University of Edinburgh. And for sure, we are delighted to explore the possibility for virtual summer program. And I agree with what Josie has just mentioned about finding the common and current issue. Last year, we conducted very short course for students from several of our university partners, and we focus on SDG issues. And we can see students from different parts of the world share about the issues from in their home countries, and by doing so, the interaction level is very dynamic. So we are happy if we are able to make more possibilities for our students to meet their colleague in University of Edinburgh. I look forward to thank you, Audrey, for responding via direct message. I surely will reach out to you after this. Thank you.
But perhaps just to add on to this, in terms of our study abroad programs and some of the programs that we have, particularly our NICE project, which is more European based, we have the Insight Summer School. So the Insight Summer School is a very unique program. It is not a program that is fully hosted by the University of Edinburgh. We actually co-host it with 4 other partners around the world. So if I'm not mistaken, Edinburgh is the lead host, followed by University of Sydney, Nanyang Technical University, University of Amsterdam, and our colleagues over in China, the Jiangsu Education Service. So the whole idea of the Insight Summer School, we started our Insight Summer School with a physical summer school in 2019, and unfortunately in 2020 the pandemic caused us to not being able to facilitate a sort of a physical summer school, and in 2021 last year we did a virtual one. So what I'm trying to say is this year, all things permitting, we're looking to expand ourselves a little bit by going into one of our country partners. So we've decided on Thailand. So there's a likelihood that we'll be having a physical summer school in Thailand. And the university is a university partner that will be hosting us, will be able to have their students coming on to this summer school. So you can see that summer schools that we have are a little bit different. So we do actually go into different countries, looking at our key strategic partners and say, would you like to host our Insight Summer School, so that the students will be able to learn intercultural expertise, they will be able to get some entrepreneurship support. So the idea of the summer school that we have are very different from the ones that perhaps the more generic ones where you come to Edinburgh, you spend the summer with us, which is not really a summer because the weather is still quite cold. So what we have developed through our Insight Summer School, and perhaps Debbie could elaborate a little bit, is that it is an opportunity for students to be able to visit different parts of the world, and who we work with, the students from that institution will be able to participate as well. So Debbie, you'd like to add a little bit to the Insight Summer School?
Thanks, Audrey. So again, it's, as Neil and Josie sort of alluded to there as well, it's solving global challenges. It's a short-term opportunity. So, potentially more affordable, multicultural community, but it's great value as well. And it's a social pioneering program. There wasn't a cost for the 2021 cycle of the 3-week program, but there should be, as far as I can see, there is a normal cost for that, but as I say, it was offered virtually online because of COVID and everything else, which we all greatly suffered with. But I've got details here of the program that I can pop in the chat for you to have a look at, and the application. Sorry, bear with me. So pop that in there for you to have a look at. So again, yeah, it's talking about the global challenges. Key topics being health, climate change, diversity, energy, security, transport, and food. So it's actually quite diverse. But yeah, absolutely. If you've got any further questions about that, just drop me a line, and I'd be more than happy to go into a bit more detail there for you.
Okay, thank you so much for everyone for the questions and also the answers as well from respective guests from University of Edinburgh. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up the question and answer session due to the limited time. So that is the end of this session. Now, before we end, please open your camera and show us your base pose for photo session for documentation. Okay, are we ready now? Hey, I've been missing Edinburgh, and now I look at Dave and Josie background. I've been missing it even more.
Okay, Devara, you can do the count. I'll take a picture from here.
Okay, we're going to take the picture now and smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for capture. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our partnership meeting session for today. Thank you very much for your presence and participation. We hope you find this meeting good and hopeful. And on behalf of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, I'd like to express our sincere gratitude for our new colleague from the University of Edinburgh, Professor Bruce, Professor Robertson, Ms. Josie, I'm sorry, and Ms. Audrey and Ms. Debbie. Thank you so much for coming today, and I'm Devara Zwana, and I'm signing off. Thank you. May I see you another time.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Take care.
It's a pleasure to meet you again.
Nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Rahmat.
Thank you, Pak Tom.
Terima kasih, Pak
Mas
Rahmat.
Andi,
Thank
terima
you so
kasih.
much, Pak Rahmat.
Pak Rahmat, thank you
Martin.
for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Sama-sama.
Okay, so we will send more students to Edinburgh. So please accept them. Yeah. So
Please send
at
me
the end
again,
of
Pak.
this month, we will announce about the university. But please trust me that we will invite you again to this year. So no problem with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Please send me again, Pak, for the second time. I really miss Edinburgh.
Come back for postgraduate study.
Yes, I will. Please.
I'll be
Good luck.
back. Yes, please.